in 1990.
You founded it. You started it.
Yeah, I started. I can't tell the story.
Yes.
And that is for you.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
Eduardo G, it was very nice. I attended your class session, and beautiful energy and very hands-on, and the men, women, all kinds, all levels. It felt very good because it is more like community than just a business class, I felt.
Right.
So I'd like to know more about how you started. We did talk a little bit, but this whole story, and also how you think it is Cuban yoga, how it is different, and the future.
Okay.
The past and the future.
Yeah. Okay. It's very happy to talk about the past, but it's only one step. Yeah, well, I began to practice yoga in 1972 by books. I found the books in the Theosophical Society library, and I was very impressed with these two books of Swami Sivanandaji of Rishikesh. There are two books, one Hatha Yoga, very strong book about practice, very hard practice, close to Hatha Yoga tradition. And another book was Kundalini Yoga, also very difficult book, but was the book available. And another book of Indra Devi was a Russian lady, a dancer who lived in India, and then he came to Argentina. And then some other book of Theos Bernard, who was a person who lived in California, and his book came to Cuba in the 40s. And that was the books, with all photos, white and black, and very difficult to know more about what the little description of the poses. But I began to practice not only asanas, I also began to practice pranayama. I also including my meditation day practice, and also I try to practice kriyas. Then I practice neti, I try to practice nauli. One of my photos is doing dakshina and vamana nauli, and all the practice of to close to the Hatha Yoga tradition. Then it was a long period of 10 years in my home, alone. There are no yoga teachers in Cuba, no yoga teacher. Some friends and other friends, we go together and we exchange, but nobody knows. Only we are blind person. Then, when 10 years later, in 82, different young people come to my house and they want to practice. I said, well, I am not a teacher, only we practice together. That is why I wrote exchange. We practice together. In fact, I don't know how to teach. But this is the beginning. This was the beginning. In that time, in the 80s, Cuba, the government don't see yoga like a normal philosophy. It's so little different. And it was a hard time. And I don't want to go deeper, but it's hard time. Not only for yoga, also for many religions. Many religions very hard time. But what happened? In the 1990, the economical situation began to deteriorate, change. And we don't have proper food, we don't have medicine, transportation is so difficult. The government need to buy bicycle, and we use bicycle. And in some moment, because we don't have medicine, Mr. Raúl Castro, with very open mind, said and promote the open of traditional and medicine. That including Tai Chi, including massage, including Qigong, including yoga. And in that period, in 1995, the government created clinics of natural and traditional medicine. Then you have the opportunity to go to the hospital and you have a diagnostic for this allopathic medicine, and you can go to other kinds of medicine. And then yoga was very important for the government, very important. And then I began to teach doctors, nurses, and sport persons who work in therapeutic clinic. And that was change. In fact, what happened in 1985, I received a new book. Not a Guruji, but a new book. For me, Guruji was a book in the beginning. And a new book of B.K.S. Iyengar, Lion Yoga. And Lion Yoga in the, maybe in 65, 67, changed my life. Because it's a more challenging poses, with a better way to arrive to the pose, more intelligent connection with the body-mind structure. And I changed my practice. I began to practice Iyengar way. I wrote him in 1982, and we began to exchange letters in 1982.
82 or 92?
82.
80. And the book you saw him?
In 88.
80, okay.
Later.
Okay.
But I saw some information about his life, and I was very impressed. And we exchanged letters. And I exchanged letters with Ranganathanandaji in 1988 or 89. I have information. All this, one letter is around 6 months. In one direction, 6 months in the other direction. Ranganathananji was very nice with me. I wrote that my daughter is Chalkata, and he was very impressed with that, and we exchanged information. Okay, in the 90s, the situation changed, yoga became official, and then I spread yoga all over Cuba. Okay, that is the very important point. In the 90s, with a group of assistant teachers, I founded Cuban Yoga Association. Cuban Yoga Association is not official. It means it's not registered by the government, but it functions like it is. You know. And later, in around 2010, I began to pay my tax, and I became official a yoga teacher. Okay. And during all these years, yoga became more and more popular, and my assistant teacher become yoga teachers, because I have a program of 250 hours, and they finish the course, and they become, during 2 years, they become yoga teachers. And in other provinces also, no new yoga teacher arise, and they working with that. Some of them teach free; they don't have any charge. But other, they pay tax, and they work officially. And that is the past up to today. And we celebrate the International Day of Yoga in connection with India Embassy. We always work together with the India Embassy. Just from the beginning, when I began to practice yoga in the 70s, I visited the embassy, and I was very well received for the Indian government and the Indian staff. here in Havana. And the other point is, in Cuba was founded the Self-Realization Fellowship by Swami Paramahansa Yogananda. He founded in Encinita in California in 1925 the self-realization, and it came to Cuba in 1957. In 1957, he founded in Cuba, and it's very close, you will visit. And there is a little place, a devotional place, with a Kriya Yoga program. It's a devotional way of teaching, and it's a beautiful lineage, and for people who have, persons who have bhakti, devotional and praying, they feel very good there. But in that time I say maybe Cubans don't want so much to move to bhakti yoga in the Indian context. And that is why I work to open class to asanas, pranayam, and shavasana. That is the basic. And that's it. I become president in 2 years, from 1989 to 91, 3 years, president of the self-realization. And I'm member also of the Theosophical Society. The headquarters of Theosophical Society is in Adyar in Madras, and here is another center, official center. Yeah, and that's it.
How do you see the future in terms of, one, I want to know how different Cuban yoga is, or the kind, how you teach, you've been to other countries. How is it different, and how do you see the future of yoga in Cuba?
Okay. I visit United States 6 times, and then I receive different teacher training. I visit California, New York, Boulder. I was invited for Yoga Journal convention in Boulder, Colorado. And the last year I went to Boca del Raton in Florida, to the Iyengar convention, and I received a 4 class with Abhijata, the granddaughter of Guruji Iyengar. And then in Cuba, yoga spread slowly. Slowly doesn't mean slowly in Cuba. Slowly in Cuba means the thing is happen. You saw many old cars of the 40s, car of the 55, old cars, and they move. Okay, they are in the street, old car for more than 60, 70 years old. And in Cuba, time is different. It's different. That is why when you saw my class and my students, they don't feel any rush. They don't want to go outside. They have time. And then yoga moves slowly but safe. In the present moment, and maybe in the future, more different lineage of yoga came to Cuba. In the present moment, we have a group of Kundalini, of Yogi Bayan tradition. We have another little group of teaching for Mary Pafar from United States. And we have a little group of, I taught you about Hare Krishna movement, devotional movement. And my students, my yoga teachers, is working with Hatha Yoga, and that's it. I wrote 3 books. I will show you. You can take photos. Mm-hmm. I wrote 3 books, and now just the guy who saw is invited me to TV program to talk about meditation. Now is the official invitation that the doctor who came here and the future will go very good, very good. It's more open, society is more open, and
What about your interest in, I know you said you read the Bhagavad Gita, you wrote on it, or Vedanta. Can you talk a little bit about that?
yeah, well, in the beginning of my search about yoga, I asked to receive some books about first classical book of Hatha Yoga. Then I got it. Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Hiranda Sanhita, Shiva Sanhita, and Vashishta Sanhita. This book gave me more classical investigation about what is the real dimension of yoga. Because yoga is not only asanas. Yoga is not only pranayama. Yoga is a new way to understand our life and change our consciousness. And then the other point was about philosophy. I begin to open an investigation about Upanishads. Then I got it some copies because I visited India 3 times and always want to find copies of Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and copy of the Upanishad. In my last trip, I got a 2 volumes of the 60 Minu Upanishad. It's not the classical Upanishad, Minu Upanishad. Then I study Vedanta because it's a very well way to present, not talking directly about God. You can talk about Brahman, that means Tat, the absolute. And then also you can say you have Atman, and then you can say Atman and Brahma is the same. Then it's easy to say you have God inside. You don't need to move your mind outside. And it's a very important way to, in this kind of society, talking about Vedanta, and Vedanta including the idea of God, but not exactly anthropomorphic God. That is why I like it. He said, there are 4 Mahavacha in the Upanishad. Aham Asmi.
Brahmasmi.
Aham Brahmasmi. Oh my God, this is great. This is great. Then the absolute, all the universe is in me. And when I discovered that, I say, wow, that is good. It's good also to open mind, to feel this new sensation because our tradition is Catholic tradition. And Catholic tradition talk a lot about hell,
Evil.
Evil. And don't put so much intention of the goodness and not about compassion. And that's new for me because my family was Catholic. And when I wake up, I say, wow, that is important. That is important. Not only for me, for Cubans. And that is why I study a little bit Vedanta. And the other point is the Gita. I have 20 copies of the Gita, 20 copies of Bhagavad Gita. And as soon as I open the Gita in any chapter, I saw clearly that it's for daily life. Then I am a warrior, and somebody go to me and say, no, Eduardo, you are a bad person, say any ugly things. Say, no, I am Arjuna, I have my own power, no depression, no sadness. I am a warrior. And all this idea was very important. And then I make a Bhagavad Gita with commentaries, checking 20 copies, checking Sanskrit with my dictionary, my Kocha dictionary.
So you learned Sanskrit where?
Here, by my own.
Without a teacher?
No, without teacher. I take books, I have some grammars, I don't need to speak, but I need to translate.
Yes.
And find the right words in connection with our culture. You know? In many translations of the Gita, they say sins.
That's wrong.
And they don't like it.
No, because in Catholicism it's different meaning.
Right.
There it is papa punya. It's different,
Right,
not
right.
the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same. That is important.
Sin is not same as papa.
No, it's not the same. Then in my Gita, I open this. This is not the same. And also, when they talk about reincarnation, here is some, wow,
Bad,
reincarnation.
odd kind of meaning. Yes.
But I say, no, in daily life, you reborn.
yes. Every day, every moment.
And I take that idea. I say, okay, you don't need to believe in reincarnation. And what happened? The yogis working in this life, believing that this is the last life. You could not say, oh, I need to wait in the next life. It happens so much in India. It happens so much in India. Swami Vivekananda ji said, you are sleeping, go, wake up. And this idea I also was getting. And I put in the context, in a good way. No, I don't transform, I don't say that. But I say, okay, you don't believe in reincarnation, no matter. The other point is karma. Karma, samsara, and reincarnation is very close. And say, karma is easy. Every day, you have words, you have action, you have thoughts. And thoughts, action, and word create cause and effect.
Like what you sow, you reap. It's the same
Right.
thing.
It's so simple. Only to open eyes and you saw your life. If you saw your life, different period of time, all that you have did, all that you have said is in relation with you, in relation with your parents, in relation with your daughters and son, and that is easy. Karma is easy. It's not a fixed law, it's a dialectic law, and that is the way that I use it.
It's beautiful. So you've written on the Gita, you said.
Yeah, I wrote.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, but it's not published.
Not
yet.
published yet.
No,
Okay.
I have in my computer.
And you've studied the Upanishads, you've studied the Bhashyam, Shankara Bhashyam,
Sankar Bhashyam?
all on your own.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
So I
Well,
have.
when I was in Hyderabad,
Uh-huh.
I studied with a Swami who are the director of the library. And I have my text and I exchange with him and he teach me. You know, he teach me. But only was a period of 20 days when I stay in Hyderabad.
But I put some commentaries and talks by Swami Dayananda Saraswati of Arshavidya Gurukulam. He was a great Vedanta teacher.
Right.
He took Samadhi in 2015. He's Swami Shivananda's student, Chinmayananda ji's student.
Okay.
So he took Diksha
The
from
Param Guru.
Paramburu, yes. So he started Arshavidya Gurukulam in Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore, and also in Rishikesh. So next time you go to Rishikesh, his ashram is called Dayananda Ashram. Yeah. So very nice talking to you, Eduardo G. I wish Cuban Yoga Association of Cuba, Vidya Yoga, and you all the very best. And from myself and from my parampara, for my Guruji, I'm sure he must be happy seeing and listening to you. and from all the Indian people?
Well, I want to say my last word is to thank to you, my gratitude to you. One point is because you have a very strict program and you devote these 3 hours, 4 hours together with me, with a simple person here in Cuba. The second point is, and more important than that, is because your heart is full of love and you respect a lot my person, and was a connection between self and the self,
Yes.
not between Kavita and Eduardo.
No.
And that is the most important point.
Oh.
Then namaste, I
Namaste.
pranam you.
Pranam
and
to you.
my gratitude to you, Kavita.
Thank you.